What's up, guys? I'm not even going to try to save the day because I don't know. Um, I'm hyped up on caffeine, so it's going to be a little bit wild. Just got off a hour-long call with Braden. Super awesome. He's got his hopefully his first clean tomorrow. Learned a very valuable lesson. Right, he didn't have things set up to where he was responding to leads quickly enough, and one of the leads that picked up the phone today, that he messaged 15 minutes after they reached out through Thumbtack. She finally picked up the phone today, and that was yesterday or 2 days ago. She picked up the phone today and was like, "I already got the clean done," and I was like, "Okay, how did that go?" Or she's like, "I needed it next day, and it was a move out, and yeah, I'm done. Thanks, bye." And it was kind of a lesson of 15 minutes isn't fast enough. This is me and Elijah jump on things within literally 60 seconds. There's a reason for that. Sorry, I just got a text. That was actually him saying that the person he was trying to schedule for tomorrow wants to move it to another day. So, they do want a cleaning though. And he just turned ads on, so it's already going. So, it's great. Yeah, big lesson, jump on leads immediately, all things that you are new to a new business owner, right? Jump on leads immediately. I told him I think probably 15 to 30% of the people that reach out, if you jump on literally within 60 seconds, they have an immediate need that they need a solution to at that moment, or they're the type of person that knows that they're busy and is I need this done, I need this sorted out, I don't care if it's I just need a good job done. They're just not worried about price. Then they're gonna book. They're not gonna care what anyone else's quotes are, and they're gonna be done. They're gonna be like, "That's off my hands. I'm good." 15 to 30% of leads, you're gonna close just by being the first one there. So, okay, that's kind of business update. Braden comes back on Tuesday, and he's got drill from Thursday until Saturday, and then we're gonna spend it's going to be more of a here's what's going on. Right now, really, it's just been set up. And so it's kind of boring. And he's been off and on doing different things. So it's once it's all right, drill's done, I have nothing else, he's not in Iowa anymore, then we're face to face, then it's all right, day by day, journeying, he's going to document the journey. So it's sick, super awesome. Yeah, so that's that. Okay, I'm going to go into what I actually want to talk about, and that is, I'm transparent here. I'm vulnerable, transparent, and I'm just honest. And I'm not here to be I'm not here to say that you should listen to my advice. I'm not here to say or even to give advice in the regard I'm about to go into, but I'm not a pastor. I'm not a theologian. I'm not an apologist. I'm not I haven't gone to seminary school. This is just my thoughts. Dad came in this morning and was saying that mom's in a lot worse condition. She was improperly diagnosed. I don't remember if I've gone over this, but yeah, I think I have a little bit. She's got extreme dizziness, and it's because something in her inner ear became dislodged and is tricking her brain into thinking that her head's moving when it's really not. It's called BPPV, and it's the otolith or something came loose. That was a diagnosis given by the ENT doctor a little over a week ago. Here's the thing, is that 3 therapists have come to the house in the past week, and this last therapist came 2 days ago, and they gave her head movements and all this kind of thing. The last therapist came 2 days ago and said, was examining her and was this isn't BPPV. You're constantly experiencing this. BPPV is you get up and you feel it, or you're moving your head and going side to side and you feel it. BPPV is not sitting down, laying down, not moving, not doing anything, and you're spinning. That's not BPPV. That's not this crystal. he's like, I have no idea. Like, this makes no sense. Like, I have no idea why someone would have said. So he goes and he's like, well, let me check you out, but this is not BPPV. And he checks her, and her blood pressure is like 150 over like 105 or something like that. And he's like, maybe my machine's messed up. Like, something could be wrong. And then we have a machine at the house, so Dad goes and gets a machine and tests the machine on her, and it says the exact same thing. And he's like, that's not good. That's really not good. And my mom naturally, like, I don't know what her first number is, but her second number is like usually like 70. Like, so she's like, I don't know if that's diastolic or what that is, but she's usually naturally just lower on the lower side. So this was extremely high for her. And so it was like, okay, like, let's see how things go. And then later on in that evening, like, it's just worse. And she ends up, feeling worse. It's not going down. And throughout this time too, it had been getting progressively worse. Like, BPV, anyways, slight upset, slight frustration of like it being misdiagnosed. Like, I understand that people make mistakes, but at the same time, you go to a doctor to get the right diagnosis so you get the right care. And having the doctor diagnose incorrectly, having two therapists come in and go on with treatment as if it's this thing, and then one guy comes in and goes, what? Like, why did anyone say this? Or like, why did nobody like realize? And then going like, no, like, and then so she gets worse. My mom never throws up, like, ever. Like, has literally thrown up one time in the 30 something years that my dad has known her, and she threw up, and that's how you know it's bad. And so Dad takes her to the ER, and they're like just running all these tests, and they run an MRI, and they see that there's never an MRI done on her. There was a CT scan done on her when she was in the hospital. There's no MRI. So they run an MRI, and they see in the MRI that her cerebellum is inflamed. So I think the technical term is like cerebellitis or something. Inflamed cerebellum, but it's not a stroke, because stroke would present like it would be part of the cerebellum, whereas this was the entire cerebellum. And so they ran another MRI with contrast, kind of see, like, just get more understanding of what's going on. And basically what's happening is that her body is attacking the cerebellum, and there's basically three main reasons that could be at this point, which would be one being that it's a result of after being infected, kind of like a lingering thing of like she had the flu or she had the cold or whatever, and it just like is lingering, and this is like a delayed or an after effect. The problem is that she had no past symptom. Like, before this started happening, she didn't have the cold, she didn't have the flu, she didn't have anything like that. She wasn't sick at all. So that's ruled out. Basically, the other things are that it's just something autoimmune. Like, there's something else going on, or there's it could be a cancer. And so those are basically the two possible options. The only way we're gonna know is by me killing this mosquito on my leg. The only way we're gonna really know is by a PET scan and by doing a spinal tap. So she's going through that right now, and then once they get results from that, they're gonna treat her inflammation, give her steroids and stuff, and then figure out what's causing the inflammation. That's really the bigger deal. It's not even the fact that the cerebellum is inflamed, it's what's causing the cerebellum to be inflamed. So at least we have a actual true diagnosis of what's happening. That's not even really what I want to talk about. That's the context of the situation. What I really want to talk about is that, as I was saying, me being transparent and vulnerable, I feel a struggle to I'm going to choose my words carefully. maybe I'm not. Maybe I'm just going to be a bit careless with my words, but I don't bringing like spirituality, bringing God into the equation. I have been on like both sides of the spectrum. Been like raised Baptist, and then going like super far, like charismatic, like deliverance, like Pentecostal, like people like casting demons out in the middle of the street, and people getting just laid out and feeling transformed after. Been on the side of it, just been all around, and have many friends and love people all around. And I don't really subscribe to like one specific thing. I just really very much so like value my relationship with God, and put my relationship with God over others' opinions of what my relationship with God should be and who God is by their own experience, or by their own definition, or by their own theology. I believe man will lead man astray just as easily as man will lead man on the right path. And so I don't rely on man, I rely on God. And in this situation, I think I'm having trouble because I want to rely on things like, oh, we just, like, God's gonna heal her. God always wants people healed, so we're gonna pray for her, we're gonna go lay hands on her, she's going to be healed, and we have the faith for that. And it's not even by our own faith. So there's charismatic people that believe it's by our faith. Some people believe that you don't even need to have faith for it to happen, because it's not based on you, it's based on God, but you need to have the obedience to just lay hands on. Some people think it has to do with the person that's being prayed for and whether or not they have the faith. Look, there's like a million different ways that people interpret things, and I feel like I'm very neutral to them. I don't know which one is correct, or if there even is like a universal standard, to be honest. I do know the Bible calls us to lay hands on the sick, and that many are sick because we do not understand the price that was paid. In the words of Saint whoever. I want to rely on, if we go do this, or be able to say like it's up to God and God's gonna do it, or be able to say sometimes God heals this side of heaven, sometimes God heals the other side of heaven. I want to say that I want to have an answer for like, why doesn't God heal, or why isn't God healing, or why did God allow it to happen? I had someone say, like, overheard someone say the other day, like, okay, so I can't push or rely or stand firm on another person's theology. You say, oh, like, good theology is going to come from the Bible. Yeah, there's 40,000 denominations who all like claim the Bible as their foundation. So yeah, the Bible might say one thing, but how you interpret that one thing is obviously what I'm talking about. So look, I'm yapping, I'm rambling. This is what this is for. So if you don't like it, click off. So if I can't rely on someone else, or I can't rely on theology, I can't rely on seminary or good theology or good teaching as defined by just the mainstream, just go with what most people think. And then what does the Bible say? That it's few who find the path, not many. So then I rely on, okay, like, I'm just going to go to God for answers, right? But then isn't that what everyone else is saying? Isn't that what the 40,000 denominations are? I'm going to God in His Word, and I'm confirming by His Word, or I'm listening to the Holy Spirit, and this is what God told to me. And then I don't want to end up like weird theology because I came up with something, or I thought God said something, and it wasn't actually God that said it, it was just me creating a voice in my head. I don't want to put some words in God's mouth that aren't from God. Literally, people were killed for that in the Old Testament. Like, it's a it's a huge thing to say XYZ came from God or God is saying this. So I guess I think I'm worried about going to God because I know my ability to be deceived. I know how often it happens that people go, God said this, or I believe that this is what God told me, and in reality, they're off. Like I said, I heard someone yesterday that was like, I know it wasn't me, I know it was God saying when I was running or whatever that, to thank him for my allergies, because it could be something worse. It could be worse than allergies. So to thank him that it's just allergies. And it's like, she was so like insistent that was God. And like, I'm not going to sit here and say it wasn't God. But if it was God, then like 95% of the rest of theology on healing and those things is wrong. And if it wasn't God, like, it's just like, how are you supposed to know? Like, I'm going to sit here, ask God, and get an answer from God, and then I'm going to go based on that answer and shut everything else out, because all I can trust is my relationship with God. You take that approach and you end up in a weird spot, because now I'm the only one who's I'm only able to trust other people who have this same view and the same way of thinking and the same, the same view and the same answer from God. But everyone else that hears differently from God is wrong. Like, it's a very prideful way to approach it. So I don't know. And I feel like if I'm honest with myself, that whenever so in reality, like, instead of like conceptual and getting like high-minded and like in the clouds with this, whenever I go to God for questions, like, why is one person saved and the other isn't? Why is this kid who's abused and by Christian parents and beat up and grows up and basically never has no chance for salvation and dies in a car accident and he's going to hell by the most widely accepted understanding of salvation, and then another person who is no more or less deserving of salvation sees a miraculous miracle because they happen to be in the area or around it, and then they serve God, or they're just marked by God early on, like, or they're just born into a family. Like, what makes one, like, these kind of questions, like, why is it that they're more deserving? Or like, why is it that this person's healed and this person isn't? Why is it I prayed for this and I didn't see this happen? And why would you allow this to happen? These kind of questions, the only response that I've ever gotten from them, and like, they took me away from God for a while, and I kind of feel that like tension now of like kind of being pulled away by these things. The only legit answer I feel like I've ever gotten from God is, I love you. Like, there's just not an answer. For me, that I've gotten, that I can personally say, the only answer I've gotten is I love you. And there's an intentional answer from God. And so as I was talking to my friend Cruz today about it, and like, I just started tearing up of just saying, like, I think I have to trust God with the things I can't understand. And man, that is super difficult, because transparently, like, isn't that how Mormons feel? Isn't that how Jehovah's Witnesses feel? Isn't that how every cult feels? Isn't that how other religions feel? Is I just trust God, I have faith. I don't understand, even though all the logic is pointing to this doesn't make sense and I don't get it, and I don't see how there's a possibility for it to work. Like the problem of evil, or the problem of God's hiddenness, and the problem of people searching God, never finding him, yet wanting to find him. All these things, like, there doesn't seem to be a solution to, and I pursue them as deep as I can, and I just kind of have to say, God is good. I don't understand. It's beyond my understanding. Even though it's like just flies right in the face of the fact I'm looking at the possibilities and it just doesn't make sense. Or I have to have kind of like a cop-out answer, like, God is good. So I think I struggle so much with it because I've literally seen miracles. Like, I've literally seen impossible ways that God left a mark on earth from heaven that could have only been spiritually, like that only could have happened through the Spirit. Like there's no physical or scientific explanation for it. But the idea that I think Alex O'Connor has said is that when you look back, like I think it's much more likely, him saying this, I think it's much more likely that in 100 years or 200 years, someone looks at the problem that I just discussed, like how could this person have been healed miraculously? Like in that moment after prayer, there's no scientific explanation. He goes, is it more likely that in 200 years we look back and say, he's just like, in 200 years I just see it extremely likely that we look back and say, oh right, they haven't figured out the underlying belief or the underlying theory or this underlying natural law or this underlying quantum mechanic. Like there's that, it's much more like in 200 years we look back and say that rather than it being a true spiritual whatever it was. And that one like really bugs me, to be honest. So I don't know, dude. It's so easy for the human mind to just like, I don't understand it, so I just put it in this bucket that has like a safeguard around it of like, it could have only been God. When maybe the answer is something else. And like, dude, this is coming from a person who has literally seen like healing miracles, has literally like heard God speak and say, call this person right now, they need your help, and me calling them and them being in a dire situation. And yet at the same time, there's testimonies of those things outside of Christianity. But then Christianity would define it and say, well, actually there are, but the thing is that those are gifts that were given by God and that are plugged into the wrong source and are incorrectly used. And if there is healing, then it's healing by other spirits, and those come with a price. And I'd have like a mentor that has said like, yeah, I've seen healing like from other people that aren't Christian, but I've literally like, God opened the veil, showed me like through spiritual eyes, like one demon of diabetes like getting out of the person, and then another demon coming and taking the place of another sickness or another thing. I have no idea. I don't know. I'm just yapping here. I'm just yapping. All I know is that I feel like all I can do is get on my face and on my hands and knees and go, God, I don't know, and this is what I feel, and these are my doubts, these are my thoughts, these are my questions, I don't know what to do with this, and it bothers me, and this is the intellect, this is the mind that you've given me. This isn't a twisted thing to ask, this isn't a twisted way of being. I am just wrestling with you, God. I need help. And so I'm just as honest can be. And I see him pull through every time, and I've been in this situation, in this spot multiple times. And so I know he's gonna do it again. Now I'm saying like he's gonna heal my mom. Like just myself being in this place of this battle, this wrestling. I think it's a lot easier to leave God out of the equation. Honestly, it feels like it's so much easier to do that. But just because it's easy doesn't mean it's right. It's like it's a reaction for me from a place of being upset or being frustrated or like not wanting to get into the same weird twisted I don't understand, but what about this and what about this that I've ended up before, and just remain in a place of childlike faith and trusting him and trusting his word and trusting with what I don't understand. So I don't know, guys, but I'm gonna be real 100% of the time, and people can be upset. I can lose opportunities. I can look back on this and regret it. But this is the way I'm willing to walk, because I wish I had someone around who was willing to walk this same way when I was growing up. I remember being 6th, 7th grade in a Baptist school and asking these questions of salvation. Wait, I was a smart kid, dude, like super smart cookie. And when I asked these questions, they weren't answered, and I was ridiculed for them, and I was actually outcast for them, like literally like pointed out in class by teachers, saying I was doing like that. It was a question from the devil that was coming out of my mouth. And so I don't want those people who have those unsaid questions or unsaid doubts or unsaid words that feel the same way to feel alone or feel like it's wrong to have the questions. Is the last thing I want. And so I'm not presenting an answer or a solution, only to help you feel like you aren't the only one searching for that, to my own kids, to myself in the future, but also to others. So I do this because I'm like, if I vlog for my kids, seeing that it would be valuable for them, why would I not also post it to the public and give it to others who would also might find it valuable? And yeah, there's a potential cost. Like I said, whether it's career, whether it's, you know, the way people view me, but I just don't really care. Like, I would do it for that little Alex in 6th grade who would have done anything to have an older brother that he could actually talk to, or that he felt he actually related to. So anyways, I love you guys. Pray for my mom. Pray for grandma. She's doing a spinal tap too. I already talked about it, so. I'm gonna pray for you guys. I guess I haven't done this yet, huh? Lord, I pray for Lord, reveal yourself in a new way. Reveal yourself in an old way. Show me more of who you are. Bring me into deeper relationship with you. Help me to know you better. Lord, help me to come to you with just a glass, a see-through soul, and to completely bear absolutely everything to you, Lord, that you would reveal these things inside me, that I would be able to be honest and lay them before you. The areas of my heart that I don't want to give, the places in my soul that I want to hide, that I'm not proud of, that need transformed, but I don't want to transform. I want to hold on to myself. I want to hold on to the old. God, help me to lay those down, even the areas I don't want to lay down. Help me to trust you, to believe even in the areas that I don't understand, in the areas I doubt. Lord, I just ask that you build my foundation even stronger, and that I'm not impacting or screwing other people's lives up by saying things that lead them away rather than lead them closer to you, Lord. In your name, amen. Love you guys.